but I'm curious about what comes up for you. Where did you, from an embodied response, what's unfolding? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that resonates so much. Because uh, what I can say about my own personal experience, um, and that kind of makes me curious even to know like what my dad's experience was, right, when he decided to turn back to yoga. But for my own personal experience, it was all about trying to heal from being in this like very, very abusive, toxic marriage. Okay. So the yoga helped me it did give me sort of like some internal strength to be able to get out of that situation that I felt, up until that point, I felt I had no way out, right? Like I couldn't see a way out. I felt completely entangled, completely entrapped, in that. But then, okay, so that helped me to get out of the relationship. But then I had to contend with myself, right? And all of the things that led me into that situation, right? That led me into that relationship. And as I started kind of examining all of those things as part of my yoga practice, because I don't consider, swadhyaya, which means self-study, is very much a part of the yoga practice, right? It's not just doing these postures and breathing and all of that. But, yoga is very, very holistic, right? So, it is about the individual, about how the individual is, you know, interacting with the world, but also how the world causes harm, right, to the
Mhm.
individual. It's about all of those things and examining all of those things. So as I was sort of doing my own swadhyaya, like I realized, there are so many things outside of myself, so many oppressive structures that I grew up with that formed my mentality, right? Like formed my habits, my patterns, my conditioning, the things that led me into the situation in the first place. And that was definitely white supremacy, growing up in the US. It was colonialism, right?
Mhm.
Coming from a culture that was colonized, right? It was
Mhm.
patriarchy, you
Mhm.
know, which is very much a big part of global culture, right? And I feel like colonialism and patriarchy are very, very intimately intertwined, So, um, that's just some of it, right? But
Mhm.
I started to recognize, all of those things, right? And the personal, very personal impact it had on my well-being. Um, and so in the process of healing, like you can't heal without acknowledging all the illness, right, or unwellness that exists in the world as a result of these oppressions, right? And ultimately, I think that the yoga philosophy kind of points to like the fact that these oppressions exist because of this sense of separation, right? In yoga, we're trying to bring ourselves back to unity, right? Unity of mind, body, spirit, unity of our individual spirit with the universal spirit or universal consciousness, which makes us all part of one living, breathing being, right? Like
Mhm.
we're not separate, we're all together. But all of, it's that fractured mentality, that mentality of separation that causes, that's at the root of oppressions, right? And then that fractured mentality is what causes our own sickness, right? It causes individual sickness, it causes community sickness, family sickness, environmental sickness, all of that.